So go ahead and delete that red circle that we've just created, all right? We can keep the pattern in here and we can keep the swatch if you need to. Let's come over to the tools and go back and select the rectangle. What we're going to do is create 2 squares, okay? So hold down your shift key, click and drag, and draw 1 square, which is, I don't know, 20 millimeters, somewhere around there. We don't have to be accurate here. And I'm going to go ahead whilst that's selected and fill that with our dense black swatch, all right? And then over here, I'm going to draw a slightly smaller one. Doesn't matter, again, what size it is, just as long as it's smaller than the original. And we'll fill that with white. Now, because it's been drawn last, it's also going to be on top. Bear that in mind. Go back to the main selection tool, select both of them, and then, as you already know, when we're doing a line, it's very cool if we have a key object. So just click back on the first black shape, and you'll see that that highlights to show this is our key object. Now we can come up to the control panel up here and say align centrally in both axes, all right? So we've now got those perfectly aligned. So if we reselect them, what we can do now is drag those as one element down into the swatches panel and generate a brand new swatch pattern, which now has, an outer side and an inner side. So let's try it. Go ahead and click our background here, which contains the red pattern. Come down to the swatches panel and apply new pattern swatch 2. See the difference? Because we've got different dimensions, that is taken into account, which is really very cool. Now, when you're designing patterns, obviously you don't want to be constricted by the size options to start with. You don't have to define the precise dimensions of your shapes. You can scale patterns once they've been applied to objects. So here's how we do it, and it's very easy. Come over to the tools, go to the scale tool, and double click it. Remember, that's what brings up your dialog box to scale from the center. If you didn't want to scale a pattern from a center, instead you could hold down your option key and click wherever you want the scale to apply from. The same rule is still in effect there, so do bear that in mind. What we do want to do here, though, is let's say we want to scale this down to, 85%, because I'm going to do progressive scale here. And then down at the bottom, very importantly, we do want to scale the patterns, but we don't want to scale the object, okay? Very, very cool. We're only scaling the fill. If we go ahead and click OK and now duplicate that, remember our progressive scale, Command D or Control D will do a transform again. That now allows us to keep scaling this down by 15% every single time until we reach the size of pattern that we want. This is really very, very cool. Now I'm just going to back up a few steps there so we don't get too small and too cluttered with shapes.